Hi everyone. So, I wanted to talk about the multiplayer system in Brothers in Arms 3, which is a game that I play, and it's a game that I like despite all of its incredibly annoying flaws, which I'm about to talk about. I think the multiplayer system in Brothers in Arms 3 makes the most basic of mistakes when it comes to making a fair multiplayer system, and it's really a masterclass on what not to do, like if you're a game designer in multiplayer. So first of all, let's talk about weapon balance. Now, there's 6 types of weapons in the game. There's SMGs, rifles, assault weapons, snipers, shotguns, and anti-tanks. And in theory, all of these are pretty balanced, but the problem is that the best weapons for these different types of classes are just don't really fit well with the classes, and you'll understand what I mean very quickly on. So first of all is the SMG. The SMG is just not used by anybody ever. When's the last, if you play this game, when's the last time you went into multiplayer and saw someone using the SMG who's not a total noob? Even the Prazis, which is the best SMG in the game. Also, why are the different weapons in these games, you have your SMGs, right? Why are the different SMGs better or worse than each other in PvP? Isn't PvP supposed to be balanced? I mean, these weapons, they each have different clip sizes, different fire rates, different stabilities. Couldn't they still do the same PvP damage? Wouldn't that be fair? So the way that it works in practice is that everyone just uses the extremely strong experimental weapons because they do the most damage, which I think is ridiculous. So SMGs are just outclassed. Even the skills that you get by killing people with it is just horrible. The skills that you get are every third shot deals critical damage, move faster, when picking up a consumable you get 2 instead, and the flash grenade ability. On paper, these don't seem really bad, but a lot of different classes have perks that define the class. For example, shotguns, which are coming up soon. But the thing is that none of these skills really alleviate the inherent problems with the SMGs. The consumable thing is we'll get to consumables later. Even picking up 2 doesn't fix the problem with consumables. And the flash grenade active ability can blind your own teammates and yourself when you use it, which is the SMGs were so overpowered that they needed to be nerfed in that way. I'm sure they did. The problem with SMGs is that they're horrible at medium range. They're barely usable at close range, and at long range, they might as well not exist. But the thing is, there's already something that fills that role. That's my cat, by the way. Say hi, Aji. That's right. There's already something that fills that role and does a much better job at it, and that is shotguns. And the reason that shotguns are so much better than SMGs is that, they fill that role and they have a much faster time to kill. I mean, with shotguns, you can kill someone in one shot. With SMGs, even if you're really right up close and personal, you might have to, dump half your mag into the person, which can take a little bit. So, they're outclassed at very short range, they're outclassed at medium range, because ARs and stuff, and they're outclassed at long range, and their abilities aren't good, so no wonder nobody uses them, even though it would be pretty cool to have a weapon that's good in the close to medium range. Next up, you have your rifles. Again, the same problems. Nobody's going to use the Johnson M1941 or the Grand. Everyone's just going to stick to the Merce, which is the better of the 2 experimental rifles, or the Kar 98K if you're a savage. Problem again is that these are outclassed because in medium range, assault weapons are better, aka the Capitan, Capitan, I'm gonna call it. I don't know how to pronounce it. The Capitan really just breaks the game, and I'll get to that soon. But in medium range, they're outclassed. In short range, they're outclassed. In long range, snipers can kill someone in like 1 or 2 shots, and snipers don't even have a long wind-up, so it doesn't even have that advantage. The only advantage that rifles could have over snipers is their wind-up, and it isn't an advantage because they don't have it. Let's look at their skills. Gain the focused buff, inflicting critical damage on the next shot after each enemy kill. That's not going to help you for your first kill of the respawn, though. So you're weaker on your first kill of the respawn. You have to already be on like a killing streak in order to get this very small bonus. Move faster with rifles. That's not really conducive to their playstyle because you want to be mid to long range anyway. Moving faster is better for short range weapons and snipers maybe, but anyway. Enemies shot with a rifle become crippled for 5 seconds. They receive 20% penalty to damage and movement. That ability is actually good, and it defines the class. However, you're not really going to get a substantial bonus out of this one unless you shoot the enemy like 3 or 4 times, and by that time, they're pretty much already dead, guaranteed. And then finally, reveal all enemy players' positions through walls for 15 seconds. I don't actually have this one, so I don't know how good it is, but it sounds really cool. I'm not gonna lie. And you get a damage bonus against revealed enemies. So rifles aren't terrible. They're not as bad as SMGs, but they are still outclassed. And next up, let's go to Assault. Oh my goodness gracious. Look, some people use the AK-47, and I respect those people. AK-47 is what assault weapons should look like. Relatively fast time to kill at medium range, but it's still reactable, right? That's what assault weapons should look like. However, what assault weapons do look like is the Capitan. Oh my goodness gracious, guys. If you go into multiplayer in this game, 90% of the people are using the Capitan, that one weapon. And the thing is, there's 2 experimental assault weapons, right? There's the TP-45, which is the stronger one, and the Capitan, which is the weaker one, just like based on the damage that they deal. But the gimmick of the Capitan is so freaking strong that you'll almost never see the TP-45. And here's why, right? The Capitan deals cone area damage, and it deals a ton of damage. So the cone area damage means that you don't have to be that good at aiming, and combined with its high damage and its really good clip size as well, it means that you just straight up have an area denial weapon. If an enemy is like running across a section of the map, you just shoot the Capitan at them and they're dead. You can't like dodge it. Even if you're like hiding behind something, sometimes the cone area damage will still get you. And the damage it deals is so ridiculous. At long ranges, it can compete with snipers, and I'm not even joking, even though snipers can one-shot players. In medium range, it's straight up the best weapon, and nothing even comes close, which is as assault weapon should be, right? But the way that it's good is not fair, because it's just like area denial for the entire map. And at close range, even at close range, it can literally have a faster time to kill than shotguns, because one-shotting with shotguns is not consistent. Typically, even if you're right up to them, sometimes you have to hit them with 2 shots, and the Capitan can literally kill you faster. So, it's just the best weapon in the game. There's no even arguing that. And it just, like, it defines the whole game, because for a lot of maps, like, you need to traverse them, and you just straight up can't with the Capitan. And it's very powerful, as I said. Next up is snipers. These are pretty interesting. Typically, you'll see people using the Fer de Lance, which costs 1,000 medals, which is a ridiculous amount. I mean, it's actually not that ridiculous. Probably once I stop buying VIP things to get my experimental blueprints, I'll save up for this. Basically, the meta in this game's multiplayer is such that you'll see 3 weapons above anything else, which is the Fer de Lance, the Capitan, and the Sucker Punch. Oh, by the way, the Capitan is really cheap to get as well. It's like, I believe it's 7,000 blueprints. Correct me if I'm wrong. You still have to upgrade it, of course, but that makes it half the price of the Sucker Punch. The most expensive weapon is 16,000 blueprints, which is like the anti-tank explosive weapon. But anyway, the Fer-de-Lance, you see it everywhere, and I just don't know why, if I'm being honest. It's super powerful. It can, like, one-shot you, even if it's not a headshot, I think. Even though that's not consistent, sometimes it'll just leave 70%. It'll sometimes just do 70% damage and leave you at 3 HP. But, like, then you can just follow up with a second shot, I believe. Maybe it's, like, the fire rate that makes it very good. I don't know, man. Could be the fire rate. It could be the one-shot chance. I'm just speculating here. It also has armor-piercing bullets. I don't really know what that does. I think that's mostly for tank stuff, but if that can, like, shoot you through walls, it's very powerful. I have no idea. I tried to look up gameplay footage for this one, and because I don't have it. And the only thing I could find is, like, someone using it who could still shoot even though their scope is down. And I don't know if that's true for this weapon. For all the other snipers, you need to have your scope up to shoot. If it's true, then that's extremely powerful because it's literally just a very strong rifle at that point. But yeah, that's all I have to say for that. I mean, people use this weapon a ton, and there's experimental snipers, which, like, experimental is basically the strongest class of weapon in the game, and people still use this, like, kind of base model one. Next up, let's talk about the shotguns. Oh man, this is my favorite type of weapon. However, like, the base weapon, the M30 Luftwaffe, it's so weak. It's so weak, which is sad because I really like the design. I think having a shotgun that only has 3 shots to fire before you have to reload is really cool design, but it just deals not enough damage. You have to be right up close to your opponent and then shoot them with every single shot before they can kill you. And then, like, most of the time you'll kill them, and then sometimes you won't even. There's also, like, the Ridge 43. The main one is the Sucker Punch, let's be real. There's the ZMA 22, which has an objectively cooler design, and it shoots incendiary bullets, but it just cannot hold up to the Sucker Punch. That's for 2 main reasons. First of all, it's just better in terms of damage, and that's, like, the only thing that really matters in terms of shotguns is damage, unfortunately. But also, it has a knockdown chance in PvP. The Sucker Punch does. And I use the Sucker Punch, full transparency here, I use the Sucker Punch. Knockdown chance is not fair at all. I don't think that it should be left up to chance whether you can kill an opponent or just not. And the knockdown chance even triggers at, like, longer ranges, where the shotgun obviously deals, like, 0 damage. Which is actually fun to use with other people. Like, you can knock someone down who's being trouble, and then, like, your teammates can go and, like, finish them off, who might be closer, might have a better medium-range weapon than you. So that's fun to use. In shotgun duels, like, you're fighting someone with a shotgun, it's really frustrating when they get the knockdown and you don't. It's really annoying. Also, another thing with this game is that if you kill somebody and they were squeezing off a shot at you, like, 0.1 seconds after, on their screen it'll register as though they shot you, but you'll actually take 0 damage. So that's really frustrating in, like, shotgun duels again, where, like, you're really close to killing them, and then they end up still being at 70% health, because you died, like, a millisecond before you could pull the trigger in the game, even though it actually does the animation on your screen. That's kind of annoying. But another design flaw with shotguns is that at close to medium range, they just do nothing. Their damage drop-off is so severe, and it's for no reason. I don't know why it's that way. And the damage they deal is inconsistent as well. Like, at close to medium range, sometimes you can kill someone in, like, 4 shots. Sometimes, like, you'll unload all 6 into them, and they'll still be at 90% health. And the same thing happens with close range. I mean, sometimes you can kill someone in one shot. Sometimes, like, you dump 3 into them to kill them. So it's not that inconsistent and very close range, but it is still annoying. And they have probably the most annoying skill perk in the game, which is that when you're killed, you leave an explosive mine on the spot. Ah, gosh, it's so annoying. I don't have it yet. I'm going to have it, and then I'm going to, like, abuse it, but it's so annoying when you, like, shoot, like, the thing is, for that to trigger, you have to be fighting someone at very close range and lose. So even if you beat someone who's using a shotgun, you're still gonna die. And it's guaranteed, like, once you get close to it, even if you back off a lot, it'll still blow up in your face, and it'll instantly kill you. So that's super annoying. Also, the mine sticks around, so you can just be walking around and just die, be blown up. I don't think that's very good game design, if I'm honest. There's also an active ability to wear, like, heavy armor. I haven't messed around with that. Reduces damage by half. That sounds really good for, like, duels and such. It also sounds good for, like, moving from one place to another where you're still exposed. So that seems like a really cool skill. But the explosive mine thing, I mean, come on. So annoying. And let's talk about the anti-tank weapons. There's one which is in the base game, Degtyaryov. Oh yeah, I'm sure for my, like, 2 or 3 Russian viewers that you got a kick out of hearing me say that. Degtyaryov. Oh yeah. That's the proper pronunciation. You guys are wrong. That weapon, anyway, is completely freaking irrelevant because it's not the experimental blowing up weapon. There's also the hammerfall, which you'll see, like, very rarely. It's kind of a mix between anti-tank and a sniper. But the one that actually matters is the Thunderstrike, and that's because it has explosive bullets, which are incredibly toxic and unfair, because you can kill someone who's hiding behind a wall. Like, you can kill someone through a wall. If someone's in cover, it doesn't matter. You can still kill them. And it's still a decent weapon for mid-range, so it doesn't even, like, it doesn't even have that weakness. For close range, it's not good. So, I mean, there's that, right? And it's a slow weapon, but long range, it can be invaluable. It's the most expensive experimental weapon in the game. It costs $16,000. I currently have $13,300 saved up, and I'm going to spend all of it on that, because if everyone else gets to be toxic, then I do too. By the way, the anti-tank skills just suck. Just bad. They're just bad. One of them increases the clip size by 1. Clip size isn't really the limiting factor with the anti-tank weapons. Everything else is. Just the fact that, like, long-range snipers are better, medium range, everything else is better, and close range, everything else is better, except for that one weapon, which has explosive bullet. It's just outclassed in every other way. You can also move faster, which is, like, great. The third one, gain the focused buff after reloading a new clip, increasing the critical chance of the next shot to 100%, and then consuming the buff. That one's pretty alright, I'm not gonna lie. And then finally, unlocks the Devastate active ability. The next enemy killed will explode and inflict fire area damage. If you want to deal area damage, like, the anti-tank weapon is the only one in the game which can do that. So this is just completely redundant. You're already dealing area damage in that area anyway. And for the other anti-tank weapons, the ability just doesn't matter. Next up, let's talk about the actual design of the PvP, right? So I actually really like the maps. A lot of them have, like, this, what's it called? There's no man's land in the middle, which I think is a really good idea. I think it'd be even better if some of these maps had a 5v5 or 6v6 functionality, because then those dead areas, no man's land, would be more significant. But there's a problem with every single one of these maps, which is that you can spawn kill your enemies in literally every single one of them. There's not even one map where you can't do it. And that's because the spawning mechanics of this game are absolutely busted and ridiculous. Like, for one, you always spawn in the same few areas each time, so your enemies can just lock down those areas and then just spawn kill you, and they can predict where you're going to spawn. Next is that you don't get any spawn immunity. In fact, this game punishes you for respawning. Your enemies have the advantage, and that's because they can see you before you can actually do anything or move around. I mean, you're still invincible in that phase when you're respawning, but as soon as you can move around, you can be shot. So they can see you before you can see them and react. And also, like, if you're using a shotgun and, like, they're using the Capitan at, like, medium range to spawn kill you with, you can literally do nothing. And if you're using a long-range weapon and someone else has got a shotgun to spawn kill you with, you can literally do nothing. So it's super annoying. It's really fun sometimes when you're respawning with a shotgun and you can manage to get out of that spawn killing trap by just killing everybody. That's really fun. That's a really rare situation. And even then, like, the enemy has killed you so many times that there's not a lot you can do to get back into the game, and that's compounded with the fact that the more kills that you get, the faster your score increases exponentially. So if you get spawn killed like 4 times in a row, your opponents have a massive advantage over you. Unfortunate. And the thing is that if you're playing multiplayer, around half of the matches will devolve into spawn killing matches. I'm not even joking. Like, the interesting part of a lot of matches comes from when you're getting spawn killed and manage to get out of it and then go and spawn kill your enemies. It's ridiculous. I mean, if you're doing a PvP fighting game, the most basic thing you should have is spawn kill protection. I mean, come on, man. It's the year 2023. You should not be able to spawn kill. It's not fun for anyone. It's not fair. Just don't do it. Next problem is pay to win and hacking. The thing is that there's consumables in the base game and there's PvP consumables in the PvP, obviously. The PvP consumables are they're really overpowered. There's the med kit, which is like fine, it just heals you. There's the grenade, which is ridiculous. You can like get grenade naturally from like, what's it called? I don't know, like airdrops or whatever. There's like blue things that you go to pick up supplies. You can get the grenade from that. The grenade is just ridiculously overpowered. It's the best weapon in like every single situation. The only downside to it is that it has a 1 second wind up time before you can throw it, but that's actually the only downside. You can use it close range, medium long range. You can use it to hit opponents behind walls. It's a one-shot kill. It's just ridiculous. Even getting it naturally is unfair as heck. But the thing is that you can actually buy these and bring them into you, and you can buy them for medals, which is essentially like this game's premium currency, and it costs 10 medals. And just for some perspective, if you're gonna pay to win the heck out of this, 150 medals costs $5 USD, which means that 30 medals is $1, right? So you're using $1 of your actual money for 3 grenades. That might not even win you a game. In fact, it's probably not going to. So in order to turn a winning game into a losing one, let's say you have to use 9 grenades. All right, so that's $3. Nobody is going to spend $3 to win a single match of PvP. But you might be asking, well, people use grenades a lot. Then what's the problem? Problem is that people just hack in medals, right? So you'll have people who are literally like throwing grenades around as their only weapon, and that's not even a joke. And it's just super unfair. And also, like, the thing is that people who are using PvP grenades, like, you might be asking, how do you know that they're hacking and not just shelling out a ton of money? The reason is that the only reason to play PvP is because they're the only way of getting medals in this game. And each day you can play PvP, and if you win 10 games, you get 50 medals, right? 50 medals can buy you 5 PvP grenades. That's not going to win you 10 games, alright? If you're going to spend some medals to get grenades, that's a horrible strategy. So the only people who are going to be using it are people who are hacking. Hacking in their medals. There's also the PvP flamethrower, which is so freaking weak. I've never seen anybody use it. And I'm not even joking. And there's the bazooka, which has the same problem as the grenade, but it's not as strong, so people use that less. And then there's, like, the boosts that you get, like the buffs. One of them has 20% chance to ignore headshots in PvP. How unfair is that? I mean, it costs 15 medals. All of these buffs cost medals. This one costs 15, the other two cost 30 each. Again, nobody who's actually, like, trying to play the game and not just hacking for fun is going to actually buy these. 20% chance to ignore headshots is... It's unfair, to say the least. I mean, I'm sure that you could already guess that. It's literally just an unfair advantage. There's no other way to spin it. The next one is free instant respawn for 15 minutes. That one's alright. It's pretty annoying when you, like, kill someone and then they respawn behind you and just shoot you. But then the last one, which is just insane, is Last Breath, which is briefly continue fighting after death, 15-minute duration. So the way that this skill works, not this skill, the way that this hack works in reality, because nobody's actually going to be shelling out 30 medals for 15 minutes of this perk, is that once you get to 0 HP, you can still keep shooting your enemy. And then after, like, 10 seconds, you just die because you're at 0 HP, and the effect wears off. And you're also invincible during this time period. So already an unfair advantage. I mean, if you're going to get someone to 0 health before they get you to 0, then you should just win and be alive for it. But no, they also get to kill you. That's unfair, right? However, when combined with the PvP medkit, which you can buy for 10 medals or get scattered around the map, it literally makes you immortal. And like, you get killed, but then you regenerate your HP, so when the effect wears off, you're still alive. And then, like, so if you're in a gunfight with someone who's using these two abilities in tandem, it's impossible to kill them, and I'm not joking. It's literally not even possible to kill them. So, great balancing, guys. Gameloft, was it? The developers of this game. Great balancing when you have a pay-to-win feature in your PvP shooter game, which literally makes you immortal. But it's not even going to make the money because everyone's just going to hack for the medals to get it. Because who's going to shill out 30, 40, 50, 60 medals? Again, each medkit costs 10 medals. So who's going to shill out that many medals just to win a game and get 1/10 of the way to getting 50 medals? It's just ridiculous. It's so annoying. So a lot of the matches just devolve into seeing which side has the better hackers, and that's not even a joke. A lot of the time, like, the hacks are, like, more ridiculous. Like, you can, like, get the flash grenades with SMGs onto any other weapon and just spam them and just make everyone blind. You can shoot people through walls and one-shot them no matter where they are on the map. I mean, come on, guys. This multiplayer is busted as hell. That's right, IG. My cat agrees with me. Yeah. Oh, so good. But yeah, man, this PvP system sucks, and it's also nearly completely inaccessible for newer players because the base weapons that you don't have to spend experimentation blueprints on are total doo-doo garbage trash. I do respect people who use the crossbow, though. That's the sniper, which is silent, and it only costs like 15 medals, I think. I might be misremembering it. It might cost like 45. But like I have mad respect for those people, because those people are actually like really skillful gaming. Yeah. But I mean, other than that, the average like free-to-play player who's not hacking, who doesn't want to spend a ton of time getting their experimentation thing or getting 1,000 freaking medals for the Fer-de-Lance sniper rifle, is just going to get rolled over in PvP. And there's nothing that they can even do about it, because the base weapons are so weak and the experimental ones are just like the only ones that are even relevant and usable in the game. I mean, but the thing is, the game is so unfair anyway that you just queue into matches and just hope that the hacker on your team is better than the opponents, and then they just carry you and you win. That's the way a lot of these work. But the thing is that, so you might be asking, so why do you play this freaking game then? The reason is that when all of these problems aren't problems in the game, which does happen occasionally, it's really, really fun. It's so fun. You can like outplay your opponents, and they can outplay you, and like it's actually pretty skillful, and it's fun, and I just really like it. It's too bad that there's all these problems. This could be like one of the best games of all time. And there should be more incentives to play PvP other than just getting medals. I mean, that's kind of boring, right? I mean, there's like the incentive of getting your skill things increased, but it's just too many. There's too many kills that you need for each one, and once you get them, and once you have the most powerful weapon, there's no reason to continue in the class, right? But it's just so much fun when there's not all this nonsense garbage. But when there's all this nonsense garbage, it's like the most toxic gaming experience that you'll ever have, ever. And that's that's not even like an exaggeration. All right, listen, I play Hypixel Skyblock occasionally. I used to play like Sky Wars, Bed Wars. I know toxic gaming experiences, all right? Trust me. This is more toxic, all right? Because like you'll just be playing a random game, and like you'll be like fighting some guys, having your fun, right? And then out of nowhere, like a hacker joins the opposite team. You just get wiped. You can't even kill them. And then like they go and like spawn kill you over and over again, and there's nothing you can do at it, and then you lose. So, I mean, yeah, if you're making a multiplayer game, these are the things that you should avoid if you have any type of brain cells, which I guess Gameloft doesn't. I mean, I guess they didn't really feel like updating their game or trying to make it balanced. They just wanted to make some schlock that people would play and then just rake in their money, right? And the problem is that nobody's paying them. Everyone's just hacking, except for me, because I don't like that. I want to actually play the game, but it's too late. The floodgates have already been opened. You know, everyone's just hacking, and the reason that everyone's hacking is because everyone else is hacking. So it just becomes this nightmare where there's hackers everywhere. Can't kill anybody. Like there's Capitans, spammers everywhere. Like you'll go in a match and you'll be hoping to get like a diversity of weapons to really test your skills, and then, like you walk out into the open for like 2 seconds, and then you just get gunned down by 3 different Capitan players on the opponent's team who don't even need to aim. They just need to point their guns in the like general vicinity of you, and you just get shredded in less than 2 seconds by even one of them because it has an absurd time to kill. So yeah, that really annoyed me. I'm gonna go and play my, my Blueprints missions, so I can hopefully get the super toxic Thunder Strike experimental anti-tank weapon, which like explodes and does whatever. Thanks for watching.